Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I want to talk about spending energy and still making profit in this game. So if you're like me, you probably have a bunch of characters. Even if you only play one as your main, chances are you still have a lot for boss alts, or you played through a lot of seasons and your energy just kind of fills up over time. So I wanted to talk about what I would use it on and how you can still profit off of it. So even if you don't play most of your characters, it's still a good idea to never let your energy fill up, just because energy equals money in a way. So before we start, one tip that I can give you is, assuming you have multiple characters and you don't necessarily play them, you see how my cap right here is 619. Actually, one thing that I've noticed is if you put energy crystals on and like plus 10 on the other characters, even if you don't play it, their cap will be plus 20 as well. So as long as you have their lightstone, or not lightstone, but crystal set up with their energy, the cap will be at 20. So you can still use it beyond the cap. And it's just a small thing. Is it really a big deal? Not really, but it's one of those nice things to start investing energy crystals into. All right, so with that said, I wrote a little list of things that I think are important to do. There's probably more, but I think here are the most important things. Obviously, number one would be gathering. So this is obviously an active activity, and gathering is very profitable. I think it's something that a lot of beginners should do all the way up until the end game. Gathering will always be extremely profitable, but it is more of an active activity that takes a lot of your time. So more time equals more silver, but yeah, that is what it is. That's the number one way of dumping your energy to get silver. Where you do, I'm going to be making a video for my top favorite spots to gather. I'm Guru 37, so I've tested a lot of different things. That is in the works. Will be done when it's done. Next thing I want to talk about is investing into workers and nodes. So they actually made it easier recently to hire workers, and the way that's actually one thing I've been doing. Lately, I've been using a lot of my energy on trying to get all artisan workers on, the important things. This one, obviously, there's a lot of blues, but they're just working on farms, so kind of like low priority. But everything else, what I've been trying to do is just get all artisans. Whether you get humans, goblins, or giants, that's a different story. It also depends on how often you want to refresh their food. I think humans and goblins are probably better overall, in my opinion. But ultimately, if you find an artisan at the shop, I would probably still just get it. And then that just comes into min-maxing later on. But high priority is getting artisans first. So yeah, they made it a lot easier. What you do is go to the contract workers, and you can use all your characters now in one screen, which is actually really nice. So you don't have to keep relogging into your other characters to do that. And I thought that was something that was so nice that I'm just gonna actually start working on, like, changing up my workers and everything. So yeah, with that said, invest in workers. If you don't have full artisans, here's what I would do if you don't have a lot of characters. Let me just give you an example right here. So you make sure to have silver in your inventory. I wish they had a hold button, kind of like the night vendor does. So you can, like, oh, I forgot my silver. Let me get it out of the bank or something. So what you would do is hit continuous, and then you could sort it by professional and artisan. If you have a lot of energy, I would do artisans only. But I would say professional and up is generally a good starting point for everyone. I wouldn't even worry about skilled or normal. Those are so frequent. So professional and up, I would start with that, and then start going for artisans later. You can always try to promote them, but artisans kind of very expensive, and I still don't have enough data after like 30,000 energy over the past, I feel like you get an artisan within every like 1,500 energy of just re-rolling workers. But like, I've had some good streaks, I've had bad streaks. I don't know the averages yet. There's just a lot of testing. But anyway, I would start with professional and then go from there. And then a lot of people have been asking me, is it worth it to invest in nodes for the drop rate? And I think it is. If you do not meet the 300% cap, it's always a good idea to invest in it. So what you do, let's say you see something where it's like over here, node investment, it tells you it goes 0.5 per level up to 10%. And what that means is, you see how it's grayed out here? That means your node is not connected. Whereas if you have a connected node, it becomes yellow. And then it tells you like the details in the tooltip. So I would say if there's a spot you like grinding and you're there for more than like 1 hour a week, it's worth investing into, maxing it out. And yeah, it's definitely worth it in my opinion, especially if you have a more energy than you really know what to do with. It's better to use it than have just like full energy on all your characters doing nothing. So yeah, some nodes I just have connected because it requires being connected. This also just comes with playing the game over time. The more contribution points you have, the more connections you have and everything. So yeah, it just really depends, but I would recommend investing into a node. Even if you don't necessarily need it, it's probably good for the future. You never know which spots are going to get buffed and nerfed these days. So I think it's important. The next thing I want to talk about is the night vendor. Now, I know a lot of people have forgotten this existed because it's, you know, not as relevant anymore these days. But I think it is important. In every town, there's a night vendor. So I'm going to show you where it is in Heidel. And I think this is important because it's something that right now is very important to talk about. So it's not nighttime yet, but here's where the NPC is. And it gives a bunch of Capra stones, Cron stones. You can get weapon boxes if you're trying to make black stars, and then, you know, a bunch of other things. So make sure to look at the market if you need certain things like bundles of Capra stones or Cron stones and everything. And it is profitable. It's just, is it worth 50 energy per roll? Not so much. But if you need specific things like boss boxes, like, you know, Zarka, Kuda, Maneuver boxes for your black stars, I think that's actually a really good place to be going for them. And you get them more frequently than you think. So it's definitely worth considering. In terms of silver value for energy, that's not that great. But if you're trying to buy cheaper Cron stones every now and then, it's worth it in my opinion. So overall, is it worth it? Not really. Also depends on market price. But if you have nothing better to do with your energy, then it's, you know, more worth it to use it than not use it. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is ecology farming. So a lot of NPCs, you guys know, ecology is one of those things that you just kind of do over time throughout your BDO career. A lot of them require talking to NPCs, get amity. Sometimes they have dialogue that you can exchange for energy. That's one of those things where you just do by playing the game. And especially for certain nodes, like, let me show you. Excavation nodes. These are not there by default. You have to go to the node manager and then talk to them. And then usually you pay energy and it permanently unlocks an excavation node. And so those require energy. It's definitely worth doing because Trace of Nature is a very high required item for a lot of alchemy recipes. And you just kind of have to discover it over time. Just go on like BDO Codex or something, and it'll tell you which nodes have an excavation and which ones don't. So you can figure that one out, but that's one of those things. Just play the game naturally. You'll find NPCs that actually they got revamped over the past year, and now they kind of just have a lot of random dialogue. Sometimes recently, like last month, I found an NPC that just had a lot of extra dialogue. I'm like, I talked to you before, but then they added stuff. So you might have to go back every now and then and check it. But that's one way to dump your energy, and it's a long-term investment for ecology. All right, so the next thing you could do in town is literally spending energy for your energy potions. And I'll show you how to do that right now. So this is only done in Velia, and I think that it's not a bad thing to do. Like, someone has to do it, but if you could do some of the other things first before energy exchanging into like usable energy, if that makes sense, then you could do that. So some people might not know, but this has been in the game forever. And you go to Aliston in Velia, right? He has an exchange. You spend energy, and then you get an energy potion. This is what it looks like on your market. You could sell bottled energy for higher exchange rates. In terms of energy value to silver, it's not worth it, but there are times that I personally do use them. Like, this is all for my self exchange, just because there are recipes that require them, like miraculous herbal medicines. For all of you gatherers out there, you do need them. So every now and then I do exchange these for, crafting these. But if you're just in a rush and don't have time to dump all your energy, this is an option. Probably one of the lowest value, like energy to silver values you could do, but it's an option. So with that said, that has been like 5 tips that I could give you to using your energy efficiently and still making silver out of it. Some of them are long-term investments like ecology gains and node investments. But if you want regular improvements, you could always just invest into workers and try to get them all to Artisan. Once again, whether you use goblins, human, or giants, it doesn't matter. Early on, it doesn't matter. If you're min-maxing it at endgame, it kind of does. But ultimately, the things you look for in a worker are the skills. Once they hit Artisan, they can get all of them. So skills are more important than the tier and what kind of worker you're using. So some giants could be better than goblins depending on what skills they have. So that's more important than anything. But once again, this is a huge energy sink to get them all to, the highest tier and the right one. So it's just one of those things you do over time. All right, with that said, I got something to show you guys. So Pearl Abyss gave all the BDO partners to showcase the new outfit that came out today. And it is the new Ocean Spray outfit that came out with pre-order a couple weeks ago, but is now available in the Pearl shop as of today. And I got it on the pre-order, so I could actually show you on male and female classes, which we'll be doing. And also, I'll show you how it dies, so hopefully before you guys purchase it, I can show you what it looks like, and we'll talk about that. So, for every class, you can get it, male, female, shy, and it's in the store right now for this price or equivalent on your server. And what we're going to do is show you what it looks like. So, I got the box, and you pick one, whatever you choose, and we're going to show it to you on the Dosa as of today. And what happens is you get to choose from one of 4 things, and basically choose one of 2 hats or whatever. So I personally like this one. Male classes, you can choose the shorts or the bodysuit. I guess for males you use shorts, and then what kind of shoes you have, the flippers or the sandals or the clogs, whatever that is, which choose that one. And then between all this, you get to choose the other ones. I think we're gonna choose different shoes because realistically I don't use the hats too much, but for the sake of choosing one, it is what it is. So this is what we have. I'll show it to you, and we're gonna actually dye it. So let me put these on. All right, so these are the extra sandals in case you care. This is what it looks like by default. And then I believe if you hide the cape, it looks a little bit different. It's like the shirt part is down. And let's go dye it and see how it looks. All right, so the most important part of fashion in new outfits, seeing the attention to detail and how it goes. So first of all, main outfit, let's see. This seems like a leather and or kind of not latex, but kind of like that. So Under Armour, if you will. And so that one would probably be under either silky or leather or fabric. Let's see what they look like. Ooh, that's kind of bright, actually. You want it to be natural looking colors, right? Not like that. So yeah, that one, leather, that is not it. And these are the shinies, metals. We don't want those. So honestly, the fabric itself, it looks nice. Maybe not the bright fabrics, but like normal default color. And then this one is the outer shirt, so like not the middle, but like arm area. I think that one, I honestly like default black, to be honest. That just black goes with everything, and that's what I chose. And then the line over here, you could dye that one. That's cool. And then the Black Spirit logo is this one. We'll leave that one default. This one over here is... what is this one? Oh, I saw something flashing. This is the zipper over here. You change that color. And then this one is like the little thingy over here, the zip up. Next, we have the watch color. So I assume all of these are part of the watch, like the little button thingy. And then this is the back, like strap to tighten. And then this one is the actual watch color itself, which I think is a really nice attention to detail, to be honest. So you could decorate that one. And then shorts and like the band color. So overall, I think this is a pretty good one. A lot of the summer outfits itself are, you know, pretty standard, but at least they actually put in a lot of detail to being able to customize it as much as you want to. So yeah, with that said, that has been that one. And let me look at the shoes real quick, because we got the option to pick two of them. So if you like Crocs, that's an option. And if you like sandals, that's another option. I personally like the sandals. I have never worn Crocs in my life, so there's that. All right, with that said, let's show it to you on the female classes. This is the one I didn't get from Pearl Abyss, but I bought it myself during the pre-order like last week, and I thought it was okay. I mean, I get to show you both, which is actually really nice. So basically, this is irrelevant now, but if you bought it during the pre-order like a week ago or two, you were able to open it last week, but I just never really bothered. So here's what it looks like for the rest of us. So same thing, you get two options with the hats and everything, and I'll show it to you. So this is what it looks like by default, and cape, or with cape hidden, cape closed, like zipped up, zip on, zipped up. All right, let me show you with the hat. You have two options, like the snorkel with that one, and then the normal hat. So yeah, multiple options. And realistically, I think the dyes are the same, but we'll just go over it once again to showcase what it looks like. And then, you know, the dyes for this one, probably color of the sandals, the yellow part, and probably the logo on here. So let's just confirm it. Yep, logo, bottom part is a different color, and the like sandals itself, you can change color. All right, so just to confirm what we just saw, are they all the same? Logo, shorts, like the band color, outfit itself, the underarm, and then the line through it. This one might be a little bit different because you have, instead of a watch, you have a band. So let me see. Oh, this is the zipper. Yeah, same thing. And let me see, what is this one? To be honest, I'm not really... Oh, this is the band over here. Yeah, so these are your wristbands. They say Black Desert, BDO. That's about it. Still not really sure what this one is. Let me just look at it. Oh, I see. Okay. This is probably, if you have the non-zip shirt, it probably just changes something because that keeps flashing. But aside from that, everything is, for the most part, the same. Instead of a watch, it's your wristbands that change. So overall, I think that's pretty cool. And that has been the new outfit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And once again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. And I will see you tomorrow. Peace.